I'd like to call the meeting to order. I would like to tell you that the owls are having a moment. We're not sure why they're not working, but hopefully the volume is working. And what I would like to do, Betsy Anders, I'm going to let you talk. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. So guys, you're going to have to be really quiet. Steve, we got to boost this volume to 100% because that's the only way it's going to happen. Okay. All right. Alana is here. Wonderful. I'm going to do a roll call just to everybody's attendance. Alana. Sir Debbie. Bill.
Here.
Tom.
Here.
Julie.
Here.
Steve.
Here.
Terry.
Here.
Paul.
Here.
Karen. Here. Full attendance. Okay. I would like, if you've all had a chance to look at the minutes, I would like the minutes for a motion on the October 11th minutes, please.
Second.
Any questions, concerns, or issues with those? Yes, Julie. Again. All right. Would you spell this, Carolyn? This is for you. Andy, A-N-I-J-A and Didjo. And Nidjo. Yeah, between you and Sue Debbie, we're screwed. We're never going to get it right. Okay. All right. Roll call vote on the minutes for the 11th. Alana. What? I don't have to do roll call? I'm thrilled. Everybody who's in approving of this, put your paws up. Oh, goody, it's unanimous. Now it'll take minutes.
Second.
Any questions, concerns, or deletions? Any deletions? Hearing none. All those in favor, put your paws up. I see everybody's hands. Great. All right, Mr. Bannon, would you unmute Madam Andrews? All right,
Hello.
we got a party?
We have a big party.
You gonna go over this briefly with us or what?
I'm happy to. Do you want me to just discuss the points of using the park or the stroll itself?
Go for it, honey.
Okay. The stroll is a jam-packed event beginning at 3 at the library where you can meet Pete the cat and the author. Going into all of our normal activities, which are face painting, Charlie's model trains, letters to Santa, holiday hayride, adult wreath making, Rudolph's Way, kids games, kids crafts, holiday bonfire with music, holiday photo cutouts, the stroll market and bonfire, gingerbread house decorating, holiday selfie booth, elf passports, s'mores by the campfire, WSBS live, holiday character parade, a visit with Santa, Berkshire Hills chorus carolers, Berkshire Bosque, holiday live windows, the Waldorf carolers, Hanukkah and tree lighting, and then fireworks, finished up with the Vocalis Youth Choir in concert. So all those things bring us to the fireworks at approximately 7:10, 7:15. Same as last year, or sorry, not last year because it was too windy. But they would set up in the afternoon and be prepared to light the first firework as we are doing the countdown of the tree lighting on the town hall front lawn. We would like to be able to use Memorial Park for that. Again, we would have them do a cleanup that evening and then go back the next morning and check for anything. Our fireworks will only last approximately 15 minutes.
Have you talked to the fire department?
Yes, the Berkshire Fireworks is connected with the fire department.
Does anybody here have any questions, concerns, or issues? Hearing none, we'll take a motion. All right. All those in favor signify by raising your paws. It's everybody. There we go.
Yeah, okay, we'll see everybody on December 10th.
Oh, okay. Discussion?
Oh,
Is there any are there any no votes? My mistake. Yes, Mr. Gibbons. What's your problem? Are you, it's a no vote. Do you have anything you want to say about it? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so let me restate that. We are all in favor except Mr. Gibbons, so it would be an 8-1 vote.
okay.
Is that all right, Mr. Bannon? Have I accomplished the task? All right, great. All right, you can shut her up. Next, no, I mean, cute.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Where is Tom Jordan? Would you allow him to talk? Tom Jordan,
Good evening, everyone.
how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Karen? Hi, Steve.
I just, okay, your insurance goes out in about a week, so you need to get that squared away.
It's all squared away. I went to Wheeler and Taylor this afternoon, and I should have a certificate of liability insurance by tomorrow.
Okay, so I read your bit as 6:45 to 8:15,
Correct.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and there was a possibility of Saturdays. No, there's not. There's no possibility of Saturdays because we've got Berkshire Grown is going in there, and we've also got the kids' basketball. So I would like to not, you know, take it 3 mornings a week and whatever. The one
That's
thing-
fine. That's fine.
Okay, I think it's really important that you understand that there are only no street shoes. All your shoes have to change in the vestibule, so I don't get any grip.
Yeah,
And
let me review with you and the board. When the guys come in to play basketball, they're not wearing their basketball shoes. They're wearing their street shoes. They're cleaning, making sure they're clean right in the foyer before they're entering the court. And actually, before we play, we actually sweep the court to make sure it's clean so that we don't slip and fall. So everyone understands the protocol there.
Great. I understand that this Monday coming up,
Yes.
they're supposed to start at Saturday night, work Saturday night, all day Sunday and all day Monday.
Okay.
I would be particularly careful that Wednesday. I think everything will be set and cured by then, but just so you're aware, if there's any change, Carolyn will be in touch.
So just to clarify, Monday, November 21st, we're not going.
It's not available.
Okay, good.
And I'm gonna, hopefully, I talked to Joe today, hopefully there'll be signage that goes up by Steve Larkin saying that the Uzi Dome is closed from Saturday night until Tuesday morning. So nobody thinks that we're,
Understood.
okay? Great. Thank you. Any questions, concerns, or issues from anybody on the board? If not, I'll take a motion. All right, so Mr. Chamberlain has said, motioned it. Mr. Gibbons has approved it. Are there any negative votes? That makes it easy. Any positive votes? Everybody's hand goes up. It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
You guys are, oh, may I ask you a question?
No,
You had mentioned something. Karen, you had mentioned when we spoke last week about the key going away and you're going to have a touchpad. When is that supposed to happen?
I would strongly stay in touch with Mr. Larkin and Mr. Aberdale, because what's going to happen is the key situation. We're gonna make all the keys not work. They're going to have to be a keypad, and you're going to have to get a code to get the key out of the keypad. So when that changes, Mr. Aberdale will let me know, and hopefully Carolyn will let you know. But I'm sure we'll let you know as soon as we can.
All right, well, thank you guys very much. We appreciate the opportunity here.
Yeah, just, yeah, forward the certificate of liability once you get it, if you'd be so kind.
Carolyn will have it this week.
Ducky,
Thank you, guys.
okay,
Am I excused?
you are, yes, you have no excuse and you are excused. All right. Another one bites the dust. Okay, so we're gonna go through right here. Memorial Field, at this point, The RFP is gonna go right out after the first of the, after the first of the year for the redo of Memorial Field. And the bids will go out on that. These are all updates from Joe. Time bond, the design of Grove Street and Dewey Park. I will tell you at this point, due to what's coming up between that and also what we're gonna try to accomplish with Olympian Meadows for a lot of reasons, is gonna be fairly compact in December and January. I will be gone the month of February, so I'm gonna try to get these two situations dealt with, one in December and one in January. Now, our next board meeting, I believe, is December 14th. Am I right, Steve? 19th, 14th? All right, so we're gonna have to change that, and I will send out a doodle poll. I thought, why do you guys always end up with, when we change it? Okay. So the one thing that we want to do with Grove and Dewey is we need to figure out how much money we've got and what we want to spend on those particular parks, knowing full well there are other things that have to be done in the park. Because we voted to assist the grant for the reinstallation and the new lighting of the Hoosie Dome. I will tell you at this point that it looks like it's going to start in the last week of January and be the first 2 weeks in February, and that building will be shut down because they need to put RAM board all over the floor, and they need to, it's going to take that long. So there's no other time to do it. So that's the best information. Late in January, probably to the first 2 weeks of February. So whatever's going on there will stop cold, everything. Yoga will stop, basketball will stop, boys, everything. I know, but I know. This is what Joe, well, we were originally told it was going to be 2 or 3 days. I thought somebody is not telling us a true story.
What is it they're doing?
They're going to insulate the whole Hoosie Dome. Right, and save anywhere from $25,000 to $3,000. So
It's really not 2 to 3 weeks.
I think they got their days and their weeks screwed up. Which is going to put a hell of a burden on Carolyn and everybody else because we have to get all these words out. But my theory is you lock that building up tight and the only people that have keys are that work with you, you just put signage all over it. There's nothing in here until it's done. All right. What, Joe?
I was just trying to queue up for when you're ready to talk about Olympia Meadows, that's all.
I'll let you know. Thank you. Yeah, I think that if I was the basketball league and I was anybody who really needed space, I would go over to Berkshire South right now, start the drums a blaring and see if there's a way you can use it. Well, then maybe perhaps they should go to the school committee. What do you think?
So let's see what's available. I know the routine, they know the routine, they've already gone to practice time, so they'll just have to.
Well, and the yoga people and the Railroad Street Youth Mentoring and all that other stuff and pickleball and everything else is just going to have to put the brakes on.
Problem is that's not a firm date, it sounds like,
It isn't.
so it's hard to plan.
I would suggest that we should have a flexible 2.5 to 3 week time where that building is not going to be available and the people need to be ready to dance and figure out what they're going to do. Because whatever. The other thing with Grove and Dewey. Go ahead, Sir Debbie. Well, we're also trying to avoid the Berkshire Grown totally. They're gonna try to stagger it so it doesn't interfere with the Berkshire Grown thing. That's Joe's bit. No, I asked, why don't we do it in the summer? And I was told that that's not available. Because that's what Mr. Aberdale, when I asked him, I said, why don't we do it in the summer? And he said, because that's not the way the contracts are being bid out.
Maybe that we have a contract, but they go higher. They've already gone higher. That's why we have to get some of our budgets don't have a firm date. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, even that, I know what it's like right now, but again, anybody doing anything. Put them on, and like say, yeah.
See in December of next year. I just think we're gonna have to suck it up because this is the grant that we got for this and everything else. It's not costing. It could have cost us a lot more money.
And once this is done, they will be able to apply for another grant, hopefully get it.
I believe so.
Yeah.
This is a sort of a domino effect thing. Once you get this, then the next, whatever. Giggle and Grove Street, what we need to do is we need to have public information. We need to get public input on what people want, but we don't have a number yet of exactly what the number is based on monies that are needed to be expended. Like we had X and then money came in for the installations or whatever. Julie, where are you with your hiking and walking trails?
Well, I found that the BMRC, the Berkshire Natural Resources Council, has a very comprehensive list of all the trails around Berkshire County on their website. I think our issue is publicizing that information for people who don't know that it exists on the BNRC site.
So could you figure out a press release for that? So we could get it out on our Facebook page and our web page, and also we put it on the Parks and Rec page. So come with language and a link so we can get that set up, and we'll do a bit about it because I think it's, it makes sense. I mean, we don't have to recreate the wheel, and the only thing I would do is I would check with Christine Ward based on everything that BNRC has, and is it updated based on everything we know here?
Question, I mean, BNRC, just their properties that they have the list of trails, or are they, are they aware of, it's like town trails or other stuff that isn't, BNRC property? I know they have an extensive list, but we want to find, we're dealing with.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I
So-
more information about other local trails.
Yeah.
It's just my assumption that they have captured all of that information, so I can go deeper.
Well, you know what the word assumption means.
Yeah.
I would strongly suggest that you print out and call Christine Ward or send and say, is this the trails for here? Because she'll know.
I assume that she's practicing.
Well, no, you have to just keep,
For the trustees of the reservation have trails too. So just to make sure that they're.
yeah, I would try to make it all encompassing. And if need be, we can make a web page out of everything. And then we can put it on the town's web page and the Facebook page. Bill.
And there's a website called All Trails.
Yes,
They have every, like all of the.
Great.
I think that's part of the BNRC.
No, I think it's probably, if you really got deep into depth, but it's like, it will give you a list of everything. And that I found issues with.
But that's one at a time, please.
You can get a lot of stuff, you can get all the information you're probably looking for without paying. But then there's, calculated individual calculations, there's more personalized, you'd have to pay for.
No, we don't need that. What I'm hoping is we can get BNRC, and if Christine and this, we get it on one document. And we can say, if you want to do any hiking in Southern Berkshires, here's what we got. And this is everybody and anybody we know anything about. And if Julie can put that together in a document and we can advertise it, you can put it as a link off the Great Barrington website or the Facebook page or whatever, we can do it that way.
'Cause that's
Tom.
really just-
Everybody speak up.
I have a personal issue with that all trails, website. I look at it and they put everything in there, but there's a lot of stuff that's private property that they've included in that. I know in particular, what they call the Hoosie River, or the Williams River Rail Trail, or the old rail bed that goes to West Stockbridge, which is not an official trail. It's private property owned by Mass Electric or National Grid.
Okay, Tom, here's what we're gonna do.
But they're advertising that and publishing it for people.
Let Julie get everything together on a page.
Yeah.
On a document, and then we can look at that, and if there's things that should not be listed, then you edit it out. But let's not kill them.
That's a good
I
thing.
understand.
It's also,
Private property.
yeah, it's not official,
Okay,
you know,
great.
we gotta be careful how we advertise.
Okay, so now. So now what I'm gonna do is the update. No one, yeah. I'm gonna share some stuff on the screen and I don't know who's gonna get to see it. But Bill and Tom, I'd like you to give me a 90-second summary of what, not decision, but just what you observed, okay?
Right now.
Right now.
So yesterday, basically assessed that we could probably fit a full soccer field between the existing baseball fields and the Housatonic River. It might take a little bit of work, but with the gravel walkway, maybe there might be some trees that might have to be cut down, but it looks like it's enough room to put a good size soccer field, and we would not touch any of the baseball field.
Perfect.
Which direction are you going?
It's north-south, but
Okay.
on the field, it's kind of almost as like a caddy's corner.
Yeah.
It's not directly
northwest to southeast.
Yeah.
To try to miss all.
It's where the practice
infrastructure.
football field.
Yeah, and then that's even beyond, so, you know, it could fit.
I know
something
it'll
like that
fit.
could fit there without taking out the middle. We had discussed about eliminating one of the three softball fields originally, but that that option wouldn't. There'd be too much stuff to get rid of and get out of the way, like poles and infrastructure, so we think we can just stay away from all of that. And fit something in back there.
Capiche? Okay. Now, the reason this is coming up is I'm going to show you some slides of what has happened down at Olympian Meadows. And then I'm going to ask that Joe Tonetti give us a quick update about what Little League and what we've done. We voted to repurpose the minor league field. What I'm going to ask this committee to do after we've looked at all this is to table that until we have done a deeper dive with the Little League and with what Bill and Tom are talking about. I just want to show you some pictures quickly. Okay, this is the situation. The drag and the charts, this is 2 days ago, is still out. It hasn't been taken care of. That's the other. Okay. They decided that what they were going to do, and this, they're going to address that. That's the edge of the infield and whatever. You can see that my whole foot and a baseball fits there. It is an absolute death trap. It needs to be repaired. That gives you a real idea of the length of my particular finger from the grass. Okay. So whoever did it, there's some issues, but I know this is also what the first base line looks like, okay? The reason I'm showing you this is, and this still needs to be dealt with, okay? So they made an effort, and the way this all got started was I spoke with Joe Chinetti, and he got involved with Chipper Paul. And Joe understands what the problem is. I know that Paul Gibbons also spoke at length with Ron White about the bottom line is the people who are in Little League are not there anymore. Most of them have left. I will tell you that working with Trish Storty, she tried her best and whatever. The first person I'm going to recognize, I'd like you to allow to speak, is Joe Chinetti, who I've worked with. He's got sons and vets, so let him, he can do a quick summary. And then I see your hand up, Jason, and I'll get to you in a minute. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Steve, Karen. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to sort of rediscuss and review what has happened with Great Barrington Little League and the fields at Olympia Meadows. A lot of what you say is present some of the challenges we faced regarding our volunteers to do the work. As we have had some success in the past, it's proving harder and harder. And since COVID hit, we've had trouble getting the volunteers to do the work that previously they did do. It's gone down a notch in that sense. So with regards to the field maintenance, which is a big issue, we have in good faith hired and gotten help to get them done this fall after falling behind in that chore. And so we've had those fields weeded and edged, and now we know there's a differential between the grass and the clay that has to be fixed before baseball season, possibly before. We just have to partner with the Parks and Rec and Chipper Paul to see when and how that could be most effectively accomplished. So that's field maintenance is one element that we're hoping to improve upon. And I know that we take responsibility for dropping the ball for this fall, getting it done in a timely manner. That is one part of the things that I think that Great Barrington Little League can improve upon. The second part that I think we can improve upon is communication. So I've heard kind of through listening to a few different people that we were hard to get in touch with. So I think that's something we can improve upon. It's with a little bit of focus, we can improve upon that as well. I will say regarding the idea that we do not have any use for the minor league field, I would like to challenge that with one caveat. But the idea is that our numbers were way down for 2 years because of COVID, and we worked our way back up to where we were this year. And I think to take away that field could be quite detrimental, sort of hobble the league, if you will, from the growth that it really needs.
Okay. I'm going to I want you to understand that we have already voted to repurpose that. What I'm going to ask this committee to do is to table that. And what I'm going to suggest is that we have a meeting of the minds in person of the league. And you're going to have to come to us with a plan and a guarantee. And it may even be to the point that there's got to be $1,500 or $2,000 put in an account that is held until that everything needs to be done correctly. It doesn't take, I understand the maintenance. What it doesn't deal with, this is what you're going to have to deal with as a Little League, is that none of the maintenance after the game was done. We bought you a lawnmower and all that other stuff. So there's a whole stuff that has to be dealt with. And I'm going to let Jason, I'm going to give him permission to speak. Go ahead, Jason. You have to unmute yourself.
Karen,
There you go.
thank you so much. Steve, thanks so much. Appreciate the time. Just to, echo what Joe was saying, we try to address the issue with the field. And I think, Joe's right. I mean, there was definitely a lack of communication. I think we're going through a transition in terms of our president, so that had something to do with it. So we have to have our meeting and figure out who that new leadership is going to be. So I hope that won't be an issue kind of going forward. And we wouldn't really invite and look forward to a meeting to try to figure out going forward how this won't be an issue in the future. And kind of one of those solutions that, is kind of right there, we just probably should have outsourced that duty from the get-go, years ago. And so I think going forward, if we put aside the money for that maintenance, I think it won't be an issue. And we're really hoping that you consider not repurposing that field. And I'm excited to hear that at least that decision's being tabled at the moment.
Yeah, with this committee, I mean, we have a lot to review, and we'll do it with you in person in detail. Lauren Hyde, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, but because I don't want you to think I don't want you to talk, but is there any interesting tidbit that you would like to chime in?
Good evening. My name is Russell Hyde, and I'm not representing the Football League in any official capacity. We were just there yesterday, dropping off some equipment in the shed, and our curiosity got sparked, and we saw the meeting posted that there was a potential repurpose. And so I guess I would ask the question is that with potential repurposing, would any redesign or whatever is going to happen possibly affect the use of that field in the future? We got curious.
What, football?
Yeah. Football and
No.
cheer.
Soccer and football are gonna be, they're like Siamese twins, you know what I mean? They kind of live together.
Okay. I guess we were just curious. We didn't know if it was gonna be something different was gonna be happening with that facility altogether.
Please know that I bet if I laid out a soccer field and a football field that they could probably coexist pretty comfortably. Okay?
Yeah, okay, that is encouraging.
That's all we're here to do is encourage. Thank you, sir. So Mr. Tonetti and Mr. Gappa, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in front. I'm gonna put this in front of the committee to table that, and that we are gonna set a date in the next month or two, and you're gonna come to us with a plan. Like, how's the plan gonna be that things are done and I don't have to go nuts, or Mr. Gibbons, and constantly check in? And I do take umbrage with the statement about communication. We were as clear as a bell. We had a signed agreement and nothing was honored. So when it comes to that, I'm not going to get burned again. And if we have to put money aside to make sure that that stuff is taken care of, we will do that. But we will
Karen?
of the minds.
Karen, I
Okay.
think that in that particular case, I was saying that we could have done it better with our communication.
Oh, good.
I was trying to take responsibility for how we can improve, right?
Honest.
Because we're working together here. So I
Yes.
think this is an opportunity for us. So,
And how many phone calls have you and I had in the last 10 days?
well, we've had a few. We've had a
Yeah.
few. So this is the beginning of something. Hopefully we can get back on the right page. Obviously,
Get the
you're
whole
aware.
thing.
You're aware of the volunteer basis, and so that, as Steve discussed it with me at a different meeting, that it's very difficult because some of the volunteers and the league board members time out after a few years, and that can be pretty tricky. So we think that this could benefit both of us.
Okay, marvelous. Thank you, Joe. Yes, I do want a motion.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we table our decision to repurpose the minor league field until such time that we've met with Little League, hopefully within the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I'd like to discuss it for a brief time. Words are cheap, and Karen, to a large extent, and other people to a much smaller extent, have had to put up with a lot of nonsense over the last several weeks. So I'm willing to listen to what the Little League people have to say before we make a final decision. Because there's a financial impact on anything that is decided. want to say at the outset that this is a private group. And the town does not have any legal obligation to provide a private organization with a place to play. So there's going to have to be some pretty strong arguments and ironclad agreements before I'm going to vote to spend one more cent on that, on those two fields, or even to consider not repurposing that field as we have already discussed. And finally, nothing should take place until we have the Little League organization, however they're constituted, sitting in a room with us so we can talk face to face. No more Zoom meetings like we have right now. I'm done.
Mr. Chamberlain, do you have anything you'd like to add to that? Mr. Bannon?
Only that this is the pulp. I talked previously with Mr. Finetti, not recently. I believe that the man is word and
Julie, anything?
I'm wondering why we need three baseball.
Well, first of all, we have 2 baseball and 1 softball. The softball is a different configuration than a baseball field. Now, one of the things I'm going to ask them is, prove to me we need 2 fields. One of the things I want to know is, if you're scheduling this correctly and whatever else, why do you still need 2 fields? You have a lot less kids. So that's part of what they know that they have to do. They're going to have to prove that they need that field. The thing that makes me hopeful about this is that Tom and Bill went with all these soccer fools and figured out that we can put another field in there. We don't need a second softball field. We can use the one that we've got, and they haven't cleaned that up yet either. So that's a whole nother ball of wax, which I don't want to get into at this point. So I think, I think Paul's got a point. I will tell you that in order to get the infield mix, to get those infields back to shape, is $3,400. We've already spent 20. So I'm a little, how we're gonna, all these facts need to be on the table and people need to know that. And, that, you may say, oh, well, we'll put $1,500, we'll make sure it's weed in the, in the spring and weed in the fall. That doesn't take into account all the games and people not doing the job of raking the field and dragging it. And that drag that we bought is still outside, still by that dugout in November. Irritates me to no end. Yeah. And they're going to let us know more about, that's their job. They got to sell this to us. And then, go ahead, Joe.
No, as you mentioned, the equipment that was used, the drag, and the buckets that you took pictures and shared with me, I went down there on Sunday and cleaned those up so that it looked presentable. So I don't know when you've been down there. I just wanted you to know that we're working toward that. Also, the gentleman that spoke brought up some very good points about expenditure and the cost, but I didn't get his name. What is his name?
Paul Gibbon.
Okay, that was Paul speaking. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Bill?
I like what Joe said. I think these guys, I trust that they're trying to do the best thing. I think that we've all gone through stuff in the past 2.5 years trying to make our lives somewhat normal in any way we can. Sometimes I think we forget the trouble that many of us had just trying to do our lives in the past 2 years. Now, if Mr. Tonetti is saying to me that he's back up to the same amount of kids that he had.
I don't know if that's what he's saying.
Well,
and we're not going to go into this tonight. We're going to get into the details about what you had 5 years ago, what you had 4, 3, and we'll get into that. That's fair.
But Being down at the field yesterday, I think there's a lot of stuff that could be done down there. I know we were talking about putting in bathrooms and, it's like, we can turn that into a multi-purpose recreational facility. It serves purpose for everybody.
Bathrooms are funded. They just have to, we have to get them in.
I know, and it's like this, I think that the more fields that we put down there that are workable, the more people are gonna be down there, and we will get to the point where they're all needed and it'll be used.
And we need a webcam on, we're gonna need a camera down there that is hooked up to the police station, because we have had enough trouble with people running and crapping all over the field. Sir Debbie? You good? Alana, anything? Good. Okay. Quickly, because I need to go to the bathroom.
In the back corner is that old baseball diamond. What was that? That was a junior softball. That was a junior. At the park.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, so I was wondering what that was.
Okay.
And to the left. And the little lights, all that.
There's a light down there.
But what I'm saying is there's some those.
Gentlemen, not tonight. Okay, we'll move on. We'll get the details. These are all questions that need to be answered, okay?
Those are baseball. By the way, they were for football practice. For football.
Well, okay. We're moving on to old business. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Anybody opposed to tabling the repurposing of Memorial Field? I mean, Olympian Meadows. Anybody opposed? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Great. Okay. In the interim, who is here from Berkshire South? Mark, the signal, there he goes. All right, Mark.
Okay.
There you go. Why don't you go over and do your, you've got to do the Housatonic Park in Lake Mansfield. What you going to start with first?
I'll start with Housatonic.
Speak up, please.
How in depth do you want me to be?
I want you to give us the report of the year, please, for the youth.
Okay. So the report that I'm reading from was written by Andrew Sigarian, who is previously the person who ran the parks. He has departed us. And so I am, in his stead, going to be reading this for you, what he read. But he and I were in contact during the course of the year. So the usage, the attendance apparently was slightly fewer than 2 people at any given time. So it was very underutilized during the summer this year for Housatonic Park. Our average was 2.36 people in the park between from 2 p.m. To the end of the day, and then the slowest time was 1:30 to the end of the around 1:30 portion of the day, averaging at about 1.62 people. I'm not sure how this data is gathered, other than the people that we have at the park take head counts, and maybe there was a 0.185 person that showed up. Not sure. So, as Andrew is reporting, we don't give a lot of weight to these statistics, as the attendance at the park was sporadic the whole summer. At times, the staff had 5 to 7 people in the park, and other times there was 0. At any rate, what I'm reading from this is that it was underutilized. So it's something to think about in terms of the town and providing that kind of coverage there. No major incidents occurred this summer at Housatonic Park. Activities were driven by the interest of the children at the park. So what we're seeing is kids wanting to play basketball. We're doing drawing and colorings, and also soccer, and the different playground equipment that's there that used pretty well. But again, not a very busy season down there at Housatonic. Suggestions for next year. may be best for the town to allocate resources differently for the park in terms of having that kind of park coverage. So recap is, aside from low attendance, this year was successful at Housatonic Park with very few incidents, minor bumps and bruises, and staff who did an excellent job at the times in which they were there. I don't know if there's any questions on that.
Hold on. I don't think we're gonna make a decision tonight, but I think it's something we really need to look at.
I agree.
Because the amount of assets that we spend down there for staffing and stuff, and that you're averaging two,
Yeah, it's abysmal.
the busiest time of the day is 2 people. It's
Yeah.
like, whatever. So, the commission will take that under advisement. We're not gonna do it today. Probably, I would suggest sometime in February, may do that, because we got enough on our docket. But, all right, so let us know about Lake Mansfield.
West Mansfield, that was good.
Questions about it? No. Go ahead, move to Lake Mansfield, Mark.
So that was not much better year this year from what was recorded by our staff down there. We did have we had a really difficult time finding park staff. But the people that we did find were willing and able, and they put in a lot of long hours. And Andrew's summary on it was that they did a really good job and really covered the times that they were there very well. The summer's attendance was strong from start to finish. The average attendance at the lake during staffed hours was more than 10 people, which is over 10 over what was last year at 37. So that's the average has gone up this year. The highest benchmark attendance during staffed hours on Sunday, June 26th, with 142 people. The highest number of people in the water during staffed hours was 53. So, if we had 142 people there, we had 53 bodies in the water, really utilizing what the lifeguards are offering for coverage.
Swimming lessons this year or not?
Pardon me?
Were there no swimming lessons this year?
There were no swimming lessons. We could not rouse any instructors. This is what we ran into. It's tough out there. Hopefully it will be better next year in terms of having people show up for our advertising. I mean, we advertised like crazy and just had no one step up to the plate or interested in it. What we do, just so everyone knows, is we do keep that roster that we used the prior year. And we get to work with them when we're setting up how we're going to bid, if we were given the opportunity to bid, so that we try to have those people as a resource to us ahead of time.
Okay.
So that we're aware of it.
All right. So the incidents we see are the whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, not a big deal. Did you have any issues not getting the police there when you needed them?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
There was one time when there was I mean, to me, it didn't seem like something that really required police action, but there was some graffiti that showed up there that we
Oh,
wound
yeah.
we wound up getting that addressed.
Right. They got right on that. The thing I find, I don't know what we're going to do, but the suggestions for next year, which I find hysterical, that's underlined, is get rid of the geese.
Yeah, I know.
And every other person that runs a waterfront in the Northeast.
Yeah.
I
I
don't,
actually have looked in a little bit to that, and I don't want to waste the board's time. But there are things out there, options that could be employed, and perhaps I can do a follow-up with you.
that's a good idea. Why don't you make that part of your task as to how to mature geese?
Duly noted. I will get you some ideas.
Well, a dog, and I know somebody wanted pictures of, there's like these models of coyotes and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Bill,
Yeah.
you want to talk to some of the people in Lenox? Bill Meyer is suggesting Lenox
Okay.
Beach had a real bad issue with their geese, and evidently they are not geese free or goose low, but something along that line. You may want to get that information.
Sure.
Have a plan in place to stop graffiti from happening. I would like to have a plan in place that I will never have ice cream again. I think that's about as much of a struggle. Oh, that went over well. That really responded to that. Yeah, best of luck on the graffiti. The only thing I can think of is that we electrocute anything that gets close. I mean, there's no way you're gonna stop that other
No,
than respect for the space.
Sure.
Rule sign, we know that there's a rule sign on the way for the back. Who wrote this? Okay, so we need the rule sign, so that would be helpful. We can
Yeah.
review that with Dr. Aberdale. Anything else? Overview?
No, I mean, I don't see any like strong things that would make the program better, other than us having the availability of better staffing in terms of being able
Structures.
to. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So to me, that's a big one.
Any questions, concerns, or issues? Yeah.
I would like to see us publicize in some fashion so that the residents of the town, particularly, especially the village of Housatonic, that we are contemplating closing the Housatonic program and see what kind of a response we get. And if we don't get,
Wait a
we
minute.
make a decision.
You just said not 10 minutes ago that words are a lot of things. My whole point is people may say, oh, don't do that. We don't want to close it. But if they don't show up, words are cheap, my friend. I'm just using your argument.
I understand that, but I have no other way. Then I would vote to close it right now. If we put the motion on the
Well, what
floor.
I would do is I would say, here's the report. And the whole town is picking it up and we're getting 2 kids a thing. Why should we pay for this?
I would ask, and I think it's a reasonable question, not tonight, what did we do to advertise it? How do we spread the word? If we only did it on social media, did we do it in print media? Did we do it on the radio? Is it something we did wrong, or is there just no need for the program?
Mark, that may be helpful. If you could put together what type of advertisement you did. Did it go on our Facebook page? Was it on our website? Did you go to SBS? Did they know about it? Did it go out before the end of the school year in any of the school publications? And if that's not the case, then perhaps that needs to be better formulated. Let me put it that way.
Yeah,
Hold
okay.
on, I got a hand over in the corner. Madam
Okay.
Speaker, yes? Speak up.
Sure. One of the things that we did talk about at the last meeting was that, this past summer, there were many more camp programs than there had been in the past. So a lot of kids were able to go to other camp programs than in years past. We know that there are some gaps in care around the edges of the season. If Berkshire South is interested in offering something that is really needed and appreciated to the parents in the community, it could be something that was just a week at the end of school and a week.
Oh, now that's a good idea.
Rather than staffing it for the whole.
That's a great idea. Mark, did you hear that?
Yeah, well, let me just confirm that what she said. She was talking about for us to develop better programming.
No. What she's saying is that it's sort of like, instead of a gap year, it would be a gap week at the end of the summer, at the end of school, and at the beginning, that they would just run a 2-week program.
Okay,
School activities, when school is closed, Berkshire South offers programming for kids that are not in school. And it would be the same kind of thing. The summer season, most of the camps run the same 7 or 8 weeks during the summer. And most of them have a gap 1 or 2 weeks right after school gets out and 1 or 2 weeks right before school starts again. And that would be very, I think, appreciated, received well, and also could feed into the out-of-school programming that Berkshire South already offers at the community center.
Mark, do you understand what she's talking about now?
I do. I think that's a
I
fabulous.
think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's why we keep her.
All right. Who was that? I couldn't make out who that was.
That's the only reason I'm telling you, because you haven't bought dinner yet. Tom Norton.
I think the choice of words, what Paul was saying, don't say we're closing the park. It sounded like, you were talking about canceling the.
He's holding the park program.
The program, yeah, so
That's what
let's
he
make
said.
it clear, because it's fine to have the park, I think it's, not having a program.
Mr. Gibbons can be corrected on his nomenclature. His thought is,
Out there, make sure that we're closing the program, not the park.
no. And I think Alana's point is absolutely, it's brilliant. I think that's a great transitional thing to do. So we may be able to do that, but that's good. Thank you very much, Mark. Is anybody else?
Can I ask one thing? The person, I didn't get the person's name that had this great idea, and if that's,
Alana Siegel.
okay, and this email address, her email address, or she can email me. I'd love to have her send me her full thought, because the speaker, I just couldn't hear everything.
We're dealing on technical difficulties. I'm going to tell you to do what you're going to do. You're going to get in touch with Carolyn Wichman, who is at the an admin at Park and Rec.
Yeah.
528-3206, and you say, can you please get me Alana Siegel's email so I can get in touch with her about her brilliant idea for Housatonic?
Fabulous.
How about that?
I'm on it.
All right.
Jack, you don't have to show up for 2 months.
Let's not get technical here. Stop it. I haven't had my hand around her throat either. She got here. So yeah, well. Okay, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Okay. Charging for use of town space. Gary Chamberlain, where are we? Right.
For the last meeting. Somewhere in these minutes you have to put it all in.
Here's my concern at this point. We've got about 4 large meaty sandwiches to deal with. This being one of them. Olympia Meadows being the other one. Getting through Grove Street and Dewey and finding out what we want to put down there. You know what I'm saying? I would like that to come up again, and I'd like that to be part of the package with what your recommendations are. You worked with who on this? To Julie. Why don't you guys chat on the phone one night and say, what do you think is a good, and bring it back as a proposal? Because I don't think we have the time to kick that around. I think that we need to do something. I don't think that it needs, I mean, I think the Berkshire Grown is pretty easy. You know, not a big deal. We're not going to charge basketball.
In a sense, it's in-kind services. They do the court.
They're doing the floor.
Oh.
You know, at the end of the year, I can say to Ruby, give us $75 or give us $100. I don't want to charge you $25 a week or whatever. And the Railroad Street Youth Project, the mentoring, I don't want to charge that either. That doesn't seem like something that we would charge for. They don't charge for that program. And the boxing program is being offered to young women. I think it's a great idea that we get the young women in this community to be able to punch somebody's lights out if they need to. Darn it. So, I would just, Alana, oh, please, enlighten us. Oh, great. Yeah, we do.
Could we please have some sort of proposal that had a structure that still allowed us the freedom to deviate from, so that there was something in place that we could use as a template when somebody comes to make a request, and we can find that individual or that individual organization somewhere on a spectrum from totally for-profit, can pay, wants to pay, is able to pay, to is offering something to the youth of this community that we want to support. And
absolutely.
But that structure, if it's in place, is actually going to streamline our process. So we can just say, here's the spectrum, here's what this.
Where do you, it's almost like CPA, where do you fall within the realm?
Yeah.
Terry, do you understand what she's asking? Can you put that together for next meeting?
We will try, right, Paul? Why don't you put it together for the January meeting? I think it's gonna be.
Right. Why don't you do January? Or February, I think February's even better.
Because you won't be.
I won't be here.
Well, let's shoot for January. We can get together.
All right.
A couple of us.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
I think,
in person.
I like I'm glad we're all here. And the other thing is I don't know what the ruling is from the grand poobahs of town hall, but why do we have to go hybrid all the time now, Steve?
That's the preference,
To whom?
because we're just getting more people. We're just getting more people.
Okay, so we had 13 people.
Yeah.
Right?
We used to
We're a
have-
hot meeting. We're lucky that if anybody showed up. So I would like to cut this, take the owl and go sit in a nest somewhere. You wanna know?
Government into a spectator sport.
All right, so you're gonna Lake Mead Mansfield Task Force. What do you got, Bill? Yeah.
I think everybody's excited about the. It is going in right now, so. They take out the old piece of.
Yes, well, I'm gonna get to that in a minute, except I've lost I don't know how to share anymore. Where to go? I'm sorry, I don't wanna talk.
We got a couple more pieces to put in, I think.
Well, I do, but I actually have pictures, because what I've got is there are 2 installed things at the, whatever. There's one that looks like a flopped over whale that they're waiting for a piece. And there's one other piece, so that it's 50% done, and it's moving that way. So we're doing well with that. So that's all right. Tom Norton, you did a bang up job. Good job on the trees. You and Joe. What'd you get? 9 or 10 in there? 10 trees. 9, and they're being watered like good boys? Okay. The Lake Mansfield, the beach, so they got rid of the climber and they put the equipment in, and hopefully by next May, they'll have the other piece in. The parts, I mean, it's sort of like trying to buy a new van. You can't buy a new part because you can't find any chips. We received a donation of approximately $1,480 from the Jerry Day donation, which is now in the Parks and Rec budget, which is going to be assigned to Grove Street. So we'll have an extra $1,400, whatever we're gonna do when we put in equipment over there. Railroad Street Youth Project, are you here? APOS. Anybody, citizens speak? Anybody got anything to say? Okay. Committees. Mr. Gibbons, do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
Make sure that we discuss when our next meeting is, because it's something.
It's a problem. I'll have to send out a doodle thing. What is, all right, the 19th is actually the selectmen's meeting, so we can't. The 12th. Does anybody have a problem with that?
How about the 20th?
Do you need a keeper to keep track of where you're supposed to be with your children? 20th, does anybody have a problem with the 20th? If you're not done shopping, who cares? Can you make it on the 20th? That's so new age. They're really not awesome. Funny. Let's go Tuesday the 20th, okay? And I'll try to make it a limited agenda so we can like focus in. Okay, 12:20. And if you can't be here in person, Zoom it in. Yes, I will try to, what I would like to do is get this Olympian Meadows thing honed down. And if we can do that, that'd be great. Okay. I won't be here in February. Bye now. I'm going
Again?
Again, I haven't been in 3 years. Jesus Christ, they wouldn't let me out of the goddamn country. Again. All right. Oh, we do have a hand. Joe Tonetti, now what? You've talked too much anyway. What do you want?
Hi, Karen. I can do December 20th. Am I invited to come in person?
Oh, how happy you're making me, dude. Yeah, bring your little army, all right? You're
No,
gonna,
I'm just telling you, I'm there. You want to do in person? I'm happy to come.
guess what you have to do? You're
I
gonna
don't
have to
wanna know.
bring snacks.
Okay, fine. Ice cream for you. Fine.
That's the good boy.
Okay.
All right,
I know that we have meetings scheduled.
all right. I would like to get rid of this system personally. Are we gonna legally have to do it?
I will tell you right now, I'd be happy to get rid of the owl, because I think there's a lot of people join our meeting, and I think it's important that we allow the public to come in and not have to do it.
Okay,
It's a new way of doing it.
yeah, if they can get the damn equipment to work.
Well, we do both.
So are you saying that it's, we don't have to do 100 meetings?
No. Strongly encouraged.
It's strongly encouraged to have people be part of government but not have to show up in person?
Yep.
It's democracy,
It's the 2000s, man. Okay,
spectator sport.
anybody else have anything they want to say? I have a few things I'd like to say. Number one, I'd like to thank you, Carrie, for doing what you did, and Julie for doing what you did, and Tom and Bill for doing what you did, and Paul for following up on the baseball stuff. I'd like to say thank you to our ladies in waiting who have both come here tonight. I'm most thrilled. Dr. Bavian has been a very busy boy. Miss Anajar was very busy doing her stuff. It was suggested to me that I need to spread the duties. Well, I consider them spread. And we will take it from there. I'll take a motion to say. Second. Everybody say bye-bye now. Bye-bye now.